title screen, National Park Service Arrowhead logo, Appomattox Courthouse National Historical Park. What does Appomattox mean to you?
What does Appomattox mean to me?
Mike, volunteer.
Most of the visitors that come and see us, when they leave at the end of the day, they are going to know something that they didn't know when they first got here.
Amber, park guide.
People can learn about what happens here and then also learn about how it affects us all today.
Beth, chief of education.
To me, Appomattox serves as a great bridge between what came before, between war, loss, casualties like Lafayette Meeks, and just a lot of great national suffering. And then what could come next in terms of opportunities, freedom. You see in the surrender terms that Lee and Grant write and agree upon that there's great civility, so there's an opportunity for reconciliation. But then as Reconstruction goes on, you see a lot of the opportunities that were promised be taken away. But here at Appomattox, we're in this sort of liminal space where those decisions haven't yet been made. And the future of the country still has to be determined. And so you have all of these people gathered together trying to decide what comes next.
Stephen, intern.
I'm standing here in front of the Clover Hill Tavern, where the Federal Army printed out parole passes to all the Confederates who were being surrendered from the Army of Northern Virginia. I think the story of Appomattox is exemplified by that particular incident because it's such a magnanimous way to end a conflict that had caused so much bloodshed and pain for so long. But like so many great events in American history, I think Appomattox epitomizes lots of contradictions. Because while you have that spirit of reconciliation and teamwork and coming back together as Americans, you also have the unanswered questions about freedom and equality in America that have vexed us since the beginning.
Joe Trisha, Appomattox for
When
equality.
I think about the surrender and Freedom Day that happened here in 1865, brings great pride and encouragement to me to know that we as a country, as a community, as a nation can come together, and the strength and dedication of once enslaved, now free people continue to grow and develop foundations that allowed me to become who I am, to obtain education, and to experience different things in life through travel and the job that I have.
David, museum technician.
I'm standing in front of the Mariah Wright house. Mariah Wright was my great-great-great-grandmother. And this place is important to me because of her and all of the men, women, and children, free and enslaved, civilian and soldier, that lived here and died here at Appomattox Courthouse.
And museum curator.
The stories of people who lived here and the events that happen here often follow our nation's journey from slavery to the modern civil rights era and beyond. One example is the story of our all-Black segregated Civilian Conservation Corps crew who conducted archaeological excavations at the McLean House in the early 1940s before it was reconstructed. You won't see their names mentioned in any of the official reports, but they were instrumental in making this park what it is today.
Chris,
and as a personal connection, my ancestors, at least some of them, immigrated from Norway and Germany just in the few years after the American Civil War. And I often wonder if the Civil War had gone differently, if there had been a permanent division between North and South, if my ancestors would have come to America. And I might not even be here today.
Elisa, park
My
guide.
relatives surrendered with the Army of Tennessee, with the 47th Georgia, on April 26th of 1865. And I've always been, the connection here is, of course, the terms, many wars before this, anybody who is seen as a traitor or in a rebellion, a lot of times would either go to prison or taken out and shot somewhere. And luckily, that didn't happen. So that's why I'm here.
Robin, superintendent.
What does Appomattox mean to me? Appomattox means home to me first and foremost. I was born and raised here in the county. I graduated from high school here. I attended my 4th grade field trip here, wandering the village streets and looking in the historic structures. 25 years later, I returned back home to serve as the superintendent of this park site. And while my day-to-day job is managing the park operations, as I walk through the village some days, the park really represents something different to me today. It represents the hope of a nation, hope for Confederate soldiers who were able to return home to their families with their sidearms and their horses, hope that perhaps this conflict could end quickly and with ceremony rather than with further destruction as a result of the terms of surrender between Grant and Lee on April 9th, and the hope for 4,600 enslaved people across the county who realized their dream of freedom and perhaps a path to equality. Now, we clearly understand that the hope of a nation often takes generations to be realized, as is evident by what's happening across our country today. But hope is really what this place means to me. Now tell us, what does Appomattox mean to you?